Nepal Academy of Tourism and Hotel Management NATHM presents First National Tourism Conclave 2022, chalking the roadmap of tourism. Main sponsored by Citizens Bank Limited. Powered by Nepal Mountain Academy, Nepal Bank Limited, Himalaya Airlines. Associate partner, Nepal Tourism Board. Hospitality partner, The Solti Kathmandu. Knowledge partner, education.com. Internet partner, Dish Home FiberNet. Television partner, Castromondop Television. Promoted by Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation. Nepal Airlines. Hotel Association Nepal, Han. Nepal Association of Tour and Travel Agents, NATA. Trekking Agencies Association of Nepal, TAN. Supported by Himalayan Glacier Adventure and Travel Company. Super Samrat Imprex Private Limited. Brand Roof Private Limited.
As we all know, there were a lot of consequences regarding during and after the pandemic in tourism sector. So we have a keynote speech regarding the prospectus of tourism after COVID-19 by Eugenia Wickens.
Though we are physically missing her, she is catching us all virtually from UK. Professor Eugenia Wickens is the professor in tourism at Buckinghamshire New University, Great Oxford area. She has a long noted experience of working in tourism, academy and research. Let's join her. Without further delay, let's join her.
Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Eugenia Wickens. I'm the founder and the chair of the ODS Academy, Freedom to Learn, which is based in Oxford here in the UK. I was the chair of the webinar series After the Virus, and I'm the conference chair for the 12th Sustainable Tourism and Development, Risks and Opportunities in Uncertain Times, which will take place on between 10th to the 12th of May 2023. And I will explain a little bit more about our forthcoming conference at the end of the presentation. Okay, thanks to all organizers of National Tourism Conclave 2022. Congratulations to all of you. In particular, I would like to thank Raj, key member of the organizing committee, and Professor Suraj Kunwar, the key advisor, and all the key players in the successful achievements of your institution. It does give me great pleasure to be part of this first National Tourism Conclave, and I believe this is the first of its kind in Nepal. Congratulations, and it's a celebration, of course, of its Golden Jubilee this year. Now then, for the structured presentation, I'm going to outline the impacts of COVID-19 because they're still lingering, really, even today. Tourism challenges moving beyond the crisis. I will give you a perspective on that, and then I will talk about the prospects of tourism in Nepal, and I will conclude the presentation. Now, I've been coming to Nepal for the last 15 years, and I remember it has been an authentic destination. Nepal's economy was based, and still is, I believe, on agriculture and farming. The changing face of Nepal, it can be seen here in my photograph. Is Nepal a crossroads? Is it tradition or modernity? That's what we need to know. Now, before I start the presentation, we need to remind ourselves that tourism is all about people. It's not just about the industry, the businesses, but it's also the people's experiences of the destination. And of course, it is the business of attracting, accommodating, and entertaining tourists, and of course, operating. Now we'll move on to COVID-19 pandemic impact, just a little reminder. There were dramatic impacts on tourism and hospitality worldwide. It was declared as a pandemic by the World Health Organization, and the governments, of course, imposed travel restrictions and spread around the globe very, very rapidly. COVID-19 emerged, of course, in central China, if we remind ourselves, at the end of 2019. The sector had to prepare to act, think, and plan differently. Governments had to take major steps. It created a socio-economic emergency for everyone, asking everyone, of course, to stay at home. It created lots of uncertainty. Now, is this the beginning of the end of mass travel and tourism, as some would like us to think? Because it's of the economic turmoil caused by pandemic, lots of tourism companies filed for bankruptcy, and of course there was a reduction in demand for travel and tourism. What are the risks, therefore, and opportunities facing tourism after the virus? Some argue that it will take now years for the sector to recover. Airlines, cruise ships, hotels were all impacted. It resulted in a surge of online activities such as doing research, business, social interaction, conferences. So coronavirus moved our life online. I will now talk about the tourism challenges moving beyond the crisis. Now, I have outlined very briefly the crisis and the disaster that was inflicted on the whole world, and in particular on the hospitality and tourism industries. And we need to consider carefully now the emerging challenges. What shall we do? How shall we do differently? But there is a consensus amongst the industry about its resilience. So what is the stakeholders' response? And of course, it's all about sustainable development, and with that, I mean socio-economic growth. And we have to transform the industry so it can be sustainable. The 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, I would just like to say just briefly a few words about it because they are the heart of the industry. Lots of discussions on sustainability and development. There are lots of initiatives designed to achieve sustainable development, including Nepal, because it brings benefits, of course, to lots of people, to the industry, to entrepreneurs, but there are also costs to others. It is a highly political area. It requires, of course, planning and intervention. Progress towards more sustainable development depends on activities of several stakeholders, including the industry of tourism, government amongst others, and the voluntary organizations. Let us then remind ourselves about the vision which was espoused by the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It is to transform the world and to leave no one behind. Sustainability should be the new normal according to the United Nations World Travel Organization. Sustainability must no longer be a niche part of tourism, but it must be the new norm for every part of the sector. And this is the spirit of sustainable development. It does create lots of jobs opportunities in hotels, in travel agencies, as to travel guides and so on. And it promotes culture in a more sustainable way. And of course, it brings hope to lots of people. Moving beyond the crisis, what is the future of tourism? What should tourism do differently? What are the emerging trends? Now, of course, everything we need to know, it comes from research and based on evidence. We need to be aware of risks and opportunities tourism is facing. Making use of new technologies, artificial intelligence, tourism requires economic investment by the sector and by the authorities. Need for a genuine debate. So what is the future of tourism? The future of travel with the increase of AI is well documented now in several studies, and of course there is evidence about this coming from Asia countries, China, Japan, Malaysia. Is this the future of tourism, however? Is that how envisaged tourism to be? Without self-service? Is it the future of tourism industry? Is it the future of tourism workplace? How do you better serve customers? Front desk robots, concierge robots, luggage carrying robots. They're everywhere now. Moving beyond the crisis through using as a tool the artificial intelligence. Recent research shows that artificial intelligence is greatly changing the sector. AI increases the operating efficiency of tourism. There's no doubt about that. Progress has been made on several areas. For instance, OTA allows consumers to research and book tourism-related products and services such as hotels, flights, directly with suppliers. Recent research shows that AI improves also your customer satisfaction, your tourist satisfaction. Hotels use AI software to effectively identify the customers at the selection stage and push products through the online reservation engine. So there is a consensus that artificial intelligence not only improves business activity, but it is also changing the tourism for good. The improves activities such as marketing, your product design, customer service, income management. Reducing the customer service cost effectively improves the tourist experience and satisfied customer. That's the outcome. So tourism recovery needs new ideas and new insights. So we need to rethink, reorient, and rebuild the resilience of tourism even further. AI is changing the operating mode of global tourism. Labor in the traditional tourism industry is now being replaced by AI. So it is a powerful data processing capacity and is said to increase service efficiency. That's the claim. So it's all about talking about here about big data moving beyond the crisis. Could that big data assist the travel and tourism industry? Tourism is experiencing a revolutionary change. There is no doubt about it. Enterprises now deploy the all-new AI-based operating system and deliver a service experience to customers based on big data, information that grows at ever-increasing rate. Today, we are here watching this presentation, and there's a lot of information gathered on our behalf. It is claimed that AI enhances customers' experience, but does it? Changing times, robots in tourism industries embracing new technologies. Intelligent robots read consumers' faces and even the signals coming from the brains. That will happen, of course, in the future, we don't know. Will robots replace workers in the tourism sector? Some claim that use of AI may damage customer experience and reduce customer satisfaction. Given the nature of hospitality and tourism sector, technology, in my view, is unlikely to replace large number of workforce, but it will change the way we all work. Many of these technologies have benefits, there's no doubt about it. It reduces staff overhead, operating costs. Technology is changing, of course, the tourism experience completely. It's a fight for survival of the fittest. Students are facing now new challenges about their education and about their employment. The speed of technological advances means that we all need now to prepare our students for the new job market. Digital skill is a must. Much of work that exists today might not exist in 20 years. This transformation is ongoing, and we really need to rethink tourism planning and development. Planning for sustainable development. Automation in the sector is rising. Increasing digitalization of the sector generates new business opportunities and promotes the sustainable development of the sector. And this comes from the United Nations. Therefore, taking advantage of this, tourism trends may increase the sector's chances of faster recovery. So, planning for sustainable development. Sustainable development, let us remind ourselves, is a dynamic process. It's at the heart of 2030 agenda of 5 critical dimensions. It's all about people. It's all about prosperity for everyone. It's all about our planet. It's all about partnerships between governments and between the business world. And it's all about peace. Intergovernmental disputes, however, recently are threatening tourism's recovery. You all heard about Russia and Ukraine war, China and Taiwan tensions. There are also tensions in Colombia, in Argentina, and Brazil. Rising cost of living is expected to hit demand for tourism, according to the United Nations. So, what should the industry do? Should they target staycation or international travel, or both? They should be aware, actually, of what is going on in society within Nepal and wider world. The tourism landscape is being transformed before our eyes. Divided countries and world into haves and have-nots, and rising animosity. We all should be aware of the uncertainty that surrounds the sustainable development of the industry and the complexities of travel and tourism. Now, I'm going to say a little bit about prospects of tourism in Nepal. In my view, Nepal has a lot to offer. I came first back in 2008 as a volunteer tourism researcher to conduct research into volunteers in Nepal. And I was taken by the country's kindness and hospitality. And since then, I never looked anywhere else. Nepal is in the heart and in my mind, always. City tourism, Pokhara, Chitwan, Lumbini come to mind. Pilgrimage, spiritual tourism, village, agro-tourism, green tourism, tea tourism, mountain, nature, adventure, sport tourism. Now, these are all in tourist perception. When we think of Nepal, of course, we think of Mount Everest, snow-capped mountains, evergreen hills, striking routes. There are so many. And it's renowned for its natural beauty and high peaks. There's no doubt about it. There are also lots of religious places. Rashtrapati Temple in Kathmandu, the statue of Shiva, 143 feet situated in Bhaktapur. Many famous temples and shrines. And also, it is renowned for its art and architecture, special architecture, for this pagoda style of temples. And it is renowned, of course, for its cultural heritage. And also, as I was saying earlier on, it is welcoming people, warm hospitality. Nepal has several prospects in tourism. There is no doubt about it. The country has got to offer a lot, not just to the international travel and tourists, but also to the domestic market. So there are benefits. Tourism is a source of earning, foreign exchange revenue, and contributes to the economy, job creation, and entrepreneurship. The importance of Nepal, its importance to Nepal is not disputed. There are several opportunities for further development. It helps the country to a more sustainable development. But is it sustainable, or does it create dependency? Now, there are a few challenges for transportation. The government and the private sector really need to tackle transportation. Pollution in Kathmandu can be unbearable at times. I myself have experienced that. Lack of developing some tourist sites, quality of hotels is some doubt here. Lack of qualified employees, for instance, importing qualified managers from India. And I have got experience from my travel to Nepal back in May. I stayed in a lovely hotel in Pokhara, but I was quite taken that a lot of employees there in the higher positions were not Nepali. Why? Any other you can think of? And this is the transportation, and this is the air of Nepal. Actually, in the atmosphere, it can be very polluted. And of course this, for the international travel, it could be a culture shock. And I have been coming to Nepal for several years, and all the people that they are visiting Nepal, they were saying something's got to be done about the environment. Prospects of tourism. Strategic plans are key to success. Strategies should be ambitious and outcomes achievable. Understanding tourist behavior, adopting safe and healthy practices. Tourist behavior is complex. Each tourist has different needs and expectations. Attitude towards purchase is different. Understanding tourist behavior requires, of course, a lot of research. Treating customers, especially guests, likelihood to increase the number of loyal customers. For instance, it means that customer satisfaction and willingness to revisit Nepal and to stay in the same hotel and restaurant. Engaging with existing customers, offering them discounts, communicating safety practices, likely to book to stay in a hotel that cares about customer well-being. So it's all about trust, credibility and understanding, and requires, of course, research. Satisfied tourists appreciate excellent service, safety, and if they're satisfied, they will do the word of mouth marketing. Free advertising triggered by tourist experience in Nepal. Employee training, rebranding Voice of Nepal for strategic planning. Some hotels struggling in Kathmandu, poor customer service and lack of employee training, and I have experienced that in a hotel in Kathmandu this year. Nepal has a lot to offer, but it needs to reconsider its brand. Supporting business ventures, financial support in building lodges, creating new opportunities in new regions requires adequate infrastructure, facilities and additional services. Awareness of risks and uncertainties should be made clear to all. Health and safety should not be viewed as luxuries anymore. Learn, adapt, and get used to adaptation and prepare to change. Planning is necessary to solve the problems such as water supply, sanitation, and litter in Nepal. Education and training are crucial for empowering your stakeholders. And I'm coming to my conclusions. Long-lasting impacts there would be. Prepare for changing the world and strategy needs to adapt to the new normal. Trends in technology are changing the tourist experience. Tourists book now, organize holiday arrangements through their smartphone at their convenience. They expect to be given personalized service. Facing a world transformed by COVID-19 and new technologies, cost of living crisis create different opportunities and challenges. Students face questions about their own employment. We need to prepare our students for the new job market. Much of work that exists today may not exist in 20 years. And on new types of tourism products, I would recommend gastronomy, wellness tourism, green tourism, cultural tourism, village tourism, tea tourism, photography tourism. Success depends on the quality of transport, of course, food, and perceived hospitality of your guests. On behalf of the conference organizing board, it's my pleasure to extend a cordial welcome to you to be part of the 12th International Conference, which is the 4th conference Nepal have organized over the years. It is jointly organized by the OTS Academy on Tourism and Sustainability Academy, based in Oxfordshire in the UK, and a host of international partners academics. Here is the live website, and sustainable tourism and development, risks and opportunities in uncertain times, is taking place between the 12th and 12th of May 2023, and of course is taking place in stunning Pokhara. So hoping our international delegates will be arriving first in Kathmandu. They will be staying in a hotel there for a night or 2 nights. They will also they will go on trips to see the cultural heritage of tourism, and of course then they will visit Pokhara. So both cities would benefit from our forthcoming conference in stunning Pokhara. We hope to see lots of you there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having me.